Good morning, Derek. Looks like you're on your own today, bro. I heard that. Yeah, I heard you're on your own today. Oh, come on, fellas. Good morning, nerdy. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Justin. Bill. Bryant. Sharon. I haven't seen Sharon the Sparky Sparkerton in a minute. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Divine One. Good morning, Wazzy the Wazzy Wazerton. Good morning, Silly Gal. Good morning, Silly Gal. You're right, it has been a long time. Glad to see you. Catzilla, good morning, kitty cat. RX, good morning. Once again, good morning, Sharon. It's nice to see you here. It's always a pleasure. Good morning, Four Leaf. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, kitty cat, meow. Zilla. Classic. Coming to you from Colorado. Good morning, everybody. Let's take a couple of minutes and say hello to each other. I get it, Sharon. Busy is good, though. Busy is good. What do they say? Idle hands are the devil's workshop? Something like that? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. That's a pretty good line. So does that mean busy hands are the universe's workshop? No idling. Good morning, everybody. Sounds good, married. Good morning, Kimberly the Golden Bolden. Idle minds make mischief. Wazzy, if anyone would know about mischief, I'm just going to say it. Derek, that's a separate subject. Wazzy, I'm just going to say it. Talk about mischief. I think Dennis the Menace was made after you. I think you were Dennis the Menace, the Ridge. Good morning, Vady. Something tells me Wazzy was the original Dennis the Menace. Yep, I knew it. It's not even guilty. It's like, fact. Fact. Nobody's ever made me laugh harder than Waz in my whole life. I spent one day just laughing endlessly. The next day, it was like I had done 8,412 sit-ups. It was crazy. My abs, my stomach, everything, I had punished it. Yeah. You get around Wazzy in the middle of a mush fest and you don't have to do sit-ups for a month. Okay? Derek, you don't have to do sit-ups for a month. Welcome to Wazzy's ab workout. Good morning, Lynette. Good morning, Summer. Summer, who knew you were so talented? Playing the piano like that, it was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Bill, thank you for the emails, some good content you've sent to me. Right, Paranoid? Can't she can play some, she can work over the ivory keys. She's got it going on. Good morning, Saul. No, Summer, I appreciate you posting that. That was very cool. It's nice to see us, different people and their talents. Freddie the Hinky Hinkleston. Good morning. Justin, that sounds neat. I see you. That would be a little intimidating. Yeah. Paranoid, when's your next broadcast? Paranoid, when are you going to do it again? Mr. Godey, when are you going to do another broadcast? Probably Thursday. Okay, remind us when it's getting close. Good morning, Greeny. Drive safe. Cleaning. There's some clean stuff. Cleaning, how's your grow going? How's your grow going? Good morning, Lynette and Carnivorous. Carney, you sure are been a nice guy lately. I don't know, I shouldn't say lately, like you probably always are. But you've been popping up as a nice-o pretty much. Go get it. I wouldn't say that. Nope, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with Sandman. He's just, has his own situations that he works through too. I don't talk to him that much right now. I wish we talked a little bit more, but he's going through stuff, I'm sure. Good morning, Bubblegum Kello. There's one of my favorite guys. Sanum. May all of your vine gardens prosper. What are you, Shakespeare today? What's going on, Shakespeare? Good morning, everybody. 38 people, 21 likes. Does that mean Sarah Bear forgot to push the like button? Hey, stuffed animal, did you push the like button? Good morning, Cleaning. I will go get it. I'll reach out to him after the show to let him know people like you are here are asking him about him. Sounds good. Good morning, Joe. And Hagee, there's my Hagster. There's the Hags. Monday Mernin, Mr. Phillips. Monday Mernin. Good morning, everybody. Herbie won't be here today. He's got a dentist appointment. So all the moderating is going to fall on Derek Anderson today. Derek said he's ready for it. I'm ready for it. Richard Bruette. Richard! Good morning. Aaron. Right, Kim? Back to work. First day of class. It's going to be weird seeing all the kids walking home from school. Good morning. RX, you know about that, don't you? Good morning, Donnie Fike. Good morning. Yeah, Justin, you can sleep later. Personally, I'm going to sleep when I die. That'll be my best sleep. Good morning, everybody. And until then, I want to just keep learning. I'm all about the learn. You guys ready? Yeah. I'll sleep when I die. Hey, they're already in school over there? Why can't they wait? You shouldn't get a winter break. And you guys should have longer summer breaks because of how hot it is. In Vegas area, they should have longer winter days at school. Good morning, Gypsy. Good morning, Sue Little. Good morning. Right, Lynette? You know what I'm talking about. Forget going to school when it's hot. Forget that business. Plus, I wonder how much it costs to air condition the school. An individual school. There must be some expense in that, right? Is that true, Kim? They keep adding vacation days? That makes sense. Justin, I don't have anything ready like that. I'll do it this week, though. I'll do some this week. This morning, I'll have two long, one nice length interview to read to you guys. And then after that, we're going to dive hard into the 4 agreements for today. I've been giving it short shrift the last week, where we only had about the last 10 or 15 minutes. So today I'm going to give it just a little bit longer. Okay? Well, that sounds neat, Summer. They get a fall break and a spring break. So it's almost like a trimester. Sounds trimestery. I remember when I first went to college and they were doing trimesters. And I was like, I kind of like this trimester business. Leonard Pickard. Who here has heard of Leonard Pickard? Pickard. Leonard Pickard. Derek Anderson doing his job over there. Good work, Derek. Who's heard of Leonard Pickard? I think more of us should have. Don's heard of him. Derek's heard of him. Still have a little bit of a runny nose and a cough. Good morning, everybody. Leonard Pickard. Sam P. You know what? I've never heard of this gentleman before. Complete OG, Don. Sam P., you're absolutely correct. Not Leonard Skinner Higgs. Leonard Pickard. Okay. Leonard Pickard has lived more lives than most could imagine. The Princeton student turned underground chemist spent decades producing 90% of America's LSD supply. After serving 20 years in federal prison on double life sentences, he emerged with new perspective and an updated mission. We asked Leonard about his life-changing first LSD experience, what it takes to manufacture planetary scale quantities of psychedelics, and why he sees AI-generated analogs as a double-edged sword in today's psychedelic renaissance. Leonard Pickard. Do you guys want me to read the interview to you? Give me 5 people, and Pops, at least read us the Leonard Pickard interview. Pretty interesting guy. Beyond pretty interesting. This guy's like mad genius. Okay? Especially the last paragraph of this interview. The last paragraph of this interview. Here's the interview. Turn off the background music. Do you need the background music off, Mark? How about just turn it down? Okay, Michael Allen's just made an offer out there. You guys check out Michael Allen's comment. By the way, Michael, on your IG page, your little bushes are looking pretty healthy. Very healthy little bushes you've got going on over there. Nice job. Okay, take us back to how it all started. How did you get drawn into the underground psychedelic chemistry? That was the interviewer's question to Leonard. Here's Leonard. My first awareness of psychedelics came when I was 12, sitting in a barbershop in Georgia. I was reading a newspaper that talked about a drug called LSD that produced profound philosophical changes in the mind. I thought, how can this be? My only experience with mind-altering substance was observing adults drinking alcohol. How could a substance change the mind? I found this idea entrancing, but I thought no more about it. Excuse me. All that changed when I was around 21, during the great counterculture revolution of the 60s. People were indulging in this almost cult-like experience of smoking cannabis. But it was accompanied by constant fear because things were very illegal. You'd be pulling down shades, peeking out blinds, and stuffing towels under doors so no one smelled anything. I remember those days. I remember that. I remember getting busted in a park. I'm sitting in my car in a park, little truck, mini truck, and I'm smoking a doobie because I couldn't do it at home. And I was like 18 years old, I say. I think I just turned an adult. Smoking a doobie, all of a sudden, cop car, 2 of them. No kidding. 2 cop cars. Pull up. Get me out of the car. Arrest me. And take me to jail. For smoking a doobie in the park. The one cop had been hiding behind a tree with binoculars. And I guess this parking lot at the park was well known for smokies. People don't smoke. They're over there acting like it's a big DEA deal, like I'm the Colombian drug lord. 1 joint, off to jail. They let me call my dad, the scariest man on the planet. My mom was working at the time. My dad was home. They let me call my dad. Somebody to come pick me up from jail. My uncle shows up. My uncle shows up. Look, what are you doing here, Uncle Art? Because your dad called me. Your dad, yeah, that's right, Higgs. Your dad called me and said he didn't trust himself picking you up, so he sent me. Oh, God. Imagine the ride home with my uncle knowing I'm heading home to Dadville. Yeah. Anyways, it was back in the day, they took that stuff pretty darn serious. Yeah. My dad popped me right in the eye. Pow! My dad believed in corporal punishment. He had no problem with corporal punishment. I shouldn't have smoked the doobie in the park, Dad. I'm sorry. Not exactly how you should be raising a kid. The actual beginning happened when I was working with Retina Foundation for experimental biology in Boston, preparing mitochondria from beef heart. I'd known about the LSD phenomenon in San Francisco, and I'd heard stories of revelations and altered consciousness. So on the Retina Foundation letterhead, we ordered 10 grams of lysergic acid from a supplier in England. When it appeared in the mailroom, we snatched it immediately and spent the weekend doing an archaic synthesis. By 6 a.m, we had this liquid, though we had no way to verify it was indeed LSD or its potency. So I took what I thought was around 250 micrograms, the same amount that Hoffman took. I got on a bus to Harvard Square, and I saw this girl about my age with a pixie haircut. I'm looking at her thinking, we're part of a new generation. We're at a pivotal evolutionary moment in the history of our species and cognitive advancement. With our new minds, we will disavow materialism. We'll stop war. We'll end hatred. Increase tolerance for all beings. And we're going to cherish the forest and the oceans and each other. At this moment, I realized, my God, this LSD is taking effect. I promptly left my job and moved to San Francisco. Interviewer says, you've said that LSD manufacturing requires requisite spirit and diamond morality. What did that actually look like when you were producing what some say was 90% of America's supply? If you're going to assume Leonard says, if you're going to assume responsibility for planetary scale quantities of the most potent neurochemical known, you must do it as a sacrament with great reverence. You can't approach it casually. You're responsible for hundreds of millions of minds having quite an experience. And you're the target of 170 countries' law enforcement agencies working upstream to find where this stuff comes from. You need security as though you were babysitting an atomic bomb. We're speaking about a mega love bomb, but the security procedures might be the same. You leave no electronic trail, and you work in remote areas with no visitors, ever. Sounds a lot like my grow house. 3 people on the planet know where it is. Everything's paid for in cash. I'm sure there's still an electronic trail because of today's world, but the signature's real low. And then we get rid of all the stuff that comes from you guys. We try to practice some of this stuff as well as we can. My personal practices include meditation and yoga in preparation for the synthesis. Then throughout the process, I would light votive candles, keep a fire burning, and play Gregorian chants or South American jungle songs to cultivate an environment of peace and reverence. This guy's been to my grow house. This guy's been to my grow house. Only we play a lot of Fleetwood Mac over there. You're risking your life every second for decades. But my favorite moment is when you're standing before 10 million doses about to be made. Reactants are swirling under argon at 3 a.m, and everything is bathed in red light because white light damages the fragile molecule. Suddenly, from nothingness, come 10 million doses of this stunning neurochemical. At that moment, I'd put my hand on the reactor and call out, "Dear God, may this substance be a sacrament in the world. May it do no harm. May it lift the human spirit. May it induce compassion. May it help us remember the majesty of nature, the glory of our existence, and the love that permeates the universe and each other." With that prayer, it goes through purification and out into the world. I love this guy. The interviewer asks, "Do you guys like this? Do you guys like this one so far?" Interviewer says, 20 years in federal prison is a long time to think. What was the biggest change in how you see yourself and this work? Until my arrest, life was in the fast lane. I was living an extreme lifestyle, like being a spy in a foreign land, and I was always outside society. What I learned in prison, though I wouldn't recommend anyone go to prison just to learn this, was what really makes anything in life. When you lose everything, freedom, possessions, friends, have a good day, nerdy, freedom, possession, friends, family, dignity, income, status, you become the worst person in the world, not worthy of being listened to or cared for. There you are in shower shoes and a jumpsuit, penniless, never ever going to be allowed to walk free again. At that point of ultimate desperation, what really means anything is the love of one's family and new friends. When all is stripped away, you still have the most precious gift. Someone loves you, and you love them. That's what sustained me through the whole thing. I believed I would be home one day because I'm not an evil being, and that proved to be true. Interviewer: you famously predicted the fentanyl epidemic in 1996. What's the biggest threat you see in today's psychedelic renaissance that people are missing? I would say this guy has a little bit of wisdom, don't you guys think? Experience and wisdom. It's a good guy to ask this question. I think we're going to see an explosion of analogs through artificial intelligence for drug development. We'll go from a few hundred compounds to millions of new variations. I think 99% of it will be of little consequence. Some may be marvelous healers, but some will be lethal and addictive. I think of one example evolving from the compound Sasha Shulgin gave me in 1988. The compound was 2C-B, which went on to become a worldwide rave drug. At the Free University of Berlin, a postdoc took 2C-B and 2C-E and began to develop analogs out of curiosity. One of them was called the N-Biome. It was an active at microgram doses similar to LSD. It started going out on blotters because it was easier to manufacture than LSD. But what people didn't realize is that the 2Cs have a very narrow range of safety. 1 or 2 doses might be all right, but 3 or 4 and you're in real trouble. This actually resulted in a few deaths. Mistakes like that can increasingly happen because of the myriad of AI-generated analogs forthcoming. This is all those synthetic options that are coming out. It's the responsibility of people distributing to be extraordinarily careful about the compounds without safety profiles. The same AI can help us understand risk profiles before human testing, but we need that responsibility and caution. Interviewer, what would you tell your younger self about how this is all played out? Leonard said, I would say, don't miss class. I dropped out of Princeton when I was 17 because I was more interested in jazz bands in New York City. I sort of winged it, but I learned very quickly I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I would also say, don't be afraid. Young people are often afraid of older people, of saying the wrong thing, of being awkward. But youth is a great blessing. Old people actually love young people. True. Especially students. True. Right, Kim? You have the world in your hands. Be brave. Just make sure you search your heart to be sure it's on the right track. Know that your intention is to help people, not to seek indulgence or to act in a negative way or to self-aggrandize, but to be a blessing during this lifetime. Hold that thought close to your heart and have courage. Leonard Pickard. Hadn't heard of him before. I was never around LSD that much. More weed and shrooms. Leonard Pickard. My new crush. I have a crush on Leonard right now. Give me 5 people that have a crush on Leonard. What a right attitude this man has. It's the same attitude without knowing him and being too... It's the same attitude I try to have. I really honestly do. So I'm just... It makes you feel good when you hear about people that you could be modeling and you're already doing it. Right? Makes you feel good. Michael Patterson, I agree with you. That's my kind of chemist. And who said, I agree with, what does it say? Derek, I agree. They should make a movie out of him. He'd make a good movie. Okay? Our ex doesn't have a crush on him, but he's got a low-key, heavy like. I love when people use the word low-key. I need to use that more often. In a low-key sort of way. Let's go to the 4 agreements. I'm going to put some time in on the page today. Okay? I'm putting the time in today. We usually don't even get to the book till it's about 10 minutes to 10, and today we're going for it. We were talking about the power of the word. Power, 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 power. I had an opportunity to be really powerful this weekend. It felt amazing. And all I had to do was be nice with this. Helped a few people out. Mostly by telling them kind things about themselves. Lifting them up. Reminding them that they're children of stars. Reminding them that they're not what they've been programmed to be, but they're wholly in their center. We misuse the word so often. And this misuse, I'm on page 34 now, and this misuse is how we create and perpetuate the dream of hell. Misuse. I think we did this. Okay, next paragraph. There was a woman, for example. What happened with Jolie? Good morning, Herbie. What did Jolie say? Oh, I see. Jesus. Some of you guys have some really tough challenges in your journey, and I'm here for you. There was a woman, for example, who was intelligent and had a very good heart. She had a daughter whom she adored and loved very much. One night she came home from a very bad day at work, tired, full of emotional tension, and with a terrible headache. Give me 5 people that have come home from work feeling like that. Tired, exhausted, got a little tension headache going. You just want to be left alone. Just want to plop my briefcase down and be left alone for right now. How many people have gotten there? It's so normal. Of course you're going to get there. We get wiped out there sometimes. She wanted peace and quiet. But her daughter was singing and jumping happily. The daughter was unaware of how her mother was feeling because she was in her own world, in her own dream. She felt so wonderful, and she was jumping and singing louder and louder, expressing her joy and love. She was singing so loud that unfortunately it made her mother's headache even worse. And at a certain point, her mother lost control. Good morning, Niffy. I think of Ava when I read this part. I think of Ava jumping around, singing out of control. But I don't think Niffy does what this mother does. At a certain point, the mother lost control. Angrily, she looked at her beautiful little girl and she said, "Shut up! You have an ugly voice. Can you just shut up?" I got goosebumps just reenacting that. That sucked. The truth is that the mother's tolerance for any noise was non-existent. It was not that the little girl's voice was ugly, but the daughter believed what her mother said. And in her moment, in that moment, she made an agreement with herself. After that, she no longer sang. Because she believed her voice was ugly and would bother anyone who heard it. She became shy at school, and if she was asked to sing, she refused. Even speaking to others became difficult for her. Everything changed in her life because of this agreement. She believed she must repress her emotions in order to be accepted and loved. It's that easy to get programmed. It's that easy for us to program people we love. Especially people that look up to you and respect you. It's that easy. She never told her daughter, don't sing again. She had a headache. She overreacted. But she used this in a negative way. And the outcome was disastrous to this little girl's life. Whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement. And it becomes part of our belief system. This little girl grew up, and even though she had a beautiful voice, she never sang again. She developed a whole complex from one spell. The spell was cast upon her by the one who loved her the very most, her mom. Her mother didn't notice what she did with the word. She didn't notice that she'd used negative magic and put a spell on her daughter. She didn't notice the power of her word, and therefore isn't to blame. She just did what her own mother and father and others had done to her in other ways. They misused the word. How many times do we do this with our own children? We give them these type of opinions, and our children carry that negative magic for years and years. Turns you into a cocaine addict sometimes. People who love us do negative magic on us, but they don't know what they do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's pure forgiveness. I give forgiveness to anybody that doesn't know what they're doing. And the dream of the world doesn't understand how powerful their words are. But we do. Knowing it gives us a sense of self-image and responsibility. That is why we must forgive them. They know not what they do. No, Sharon, it's the camera does things in reverse. Another example. You wake up in the morning feeling very happy. You feel so wonderful, you stay 1 or 2 hours in front of the mirror making yourself beautiful. Well, one of your best friends says, what happened to you? You look terrible. Look at the dress you're wearing. You look ridiculous. That's it. That's enough to put you all the way down in hell. Maybe the girlfriend just told you this to hurt you. And she did. She gave you an opinion with all the power of her word behind it. Now, if you accept that opinion, it becomes an agreement, and you put all your power into that opinion. That opinion becomes negative magic. These type of spells are difficult to break. The only thing that can break a spell is to make a new one based on truth. The truth is the most important part of being impeccable with your word. Let me say that to you again. The truth is the most important part of being impeccable with your word. Speak truth. Speak truth, and you'll never go wrong. Not everybody's going to like what they hear, but you're not going to go wrong. because you're being impeccable. On one side of the sword are lies, which create negative magic. And on the other side of the sword is the truth. The truth, which has the power to break the spell of negative magic. Only the truth will set us free. Looking at everyday human interactions, imagine how many times we cast spells on each other with our words. Over time, this interaction has become the worst form of negative magic. And we call it gossip. Gossip is a negative magic at its very, very, very worst. Because it's pure poison. I really hit on the subject of gossip a lot, especially in group settings. One little sliver of gossip can create the most division. It can create schisms. It can break groups apart completely because somebody's out there gossiping, spreading pure emotional poison. But it takes somebody else to agree in order to accept that poison. Gossip's never a one-man game. It's always got to be at loose too. And usually it gets a lot more. When somebody comes to you with gossip, turn away. Avoid. If you have the opportunity to speak to them in kindness and love, just say, what I'm starting to get right now is going to be something that's ultimately going to be negative, and my brain doesn't need it. Let's talk about something great and positive. You have anything like that we could talk about? You don't accuse somebody, oh, if you're going to gossip, don't do that. Just, my brain doesn't need the negativity. I'm working to get rid of a lot of it. Let's talk about something positive. You start to train people how to act around you. You start training people. It was like, you know what, we don't talk about that stuff around that guy. I told you guys this story a million times. That was my dad, the power of that man. He was a little guy, smaller than me. Strong guy. Construction working. He had a PhD in philosophy. Doctorate in philosophy. And he had earned it at the seminary to become a priest. He was just weeks away from taking his final vows to become a priest. Roman Catholic. And he caught a pneumonia. And they sent him home from the seminary so he wouldn't infect the other seminarians. And while he was home, he, recovering from the pneumonia, he was drafted into the Korean War. And he could have taken a deferment because he could say, hey, I'm a student. But I think his heart ultimately wasn't in becoming a priest. So he went off to the army. Came home 5 years later, met my mom, and the rest is history. Except that we were super close to the priest that had graduated after he left, became his friends. We would have priests over to our house, the guys that he had gone to the seminary with. Father so-and-so is coming over, Father McIntyre, Father O'Grady. We had all the fathers coming over. It was hilarious to see these guys too, just between you and me. The priests out back smoking cigarettes and drinking beer with my dad. I'm like, priests drink beer? They do when they're off. They do when they're hanging around with each other. We saw the other side of the priest action at our house. My dad was very moral. And there were things he wouldn't put up with. He wouldn't put up with, it's a true story, eh? I'm watching the priest party in my backyard around the barbecue. You know, like cops get together for a cop barbecue? Priests do it too. Yeah. No wonder I wanted to be a priest when I was a kid. Are you guys even paying attention? My dad would demand no gossip. The holy barbecue. My dad. No gossip. No gossiping allowed. No woo-woo talk about girls. We don't do that. Girls are sacred instruments. We do not, our house, you never said any of the sexy woo-woo stuff was unacceptable. If you lied in my house, oh, God forbid. One time, my mom went to the grocery store and she bought a pack of bologna. And she came home and in her grocery bag, excuse me, were 2 packs of bologna. They had stacked on top of each other and nobody really realized it and pulled them apart. And when they were paying for it, they only swiped it once. So the cashier, I don't even know if they was swiping then, but the cashier only rang up the bologna once. So she gets home, she's putting the groceries away, and she finds this second pack of bologna. And she's like, this is like manna from heaven. We got lucky. We hit the jackpot. We got an extra pack of bologna we didn't even have to pay for. And she's sort of celebrating in the kitchen. And my dad's like, wait, what? Extra pack of bologna we didn't pay for? Yeah, this is the greatest. This is fantastic. You know, we're lucky. Aren't we lucky? He says, Carol, let's grab that bologna and let's go. Get in the car. What? And that's how my dad did it. He never told you what he was going to do. You just had to like follow him step by step. So my mom grabs the pack of bologna and gets in the car. And they drive away. 20 minutes later, they come home. And my mom's crying. Oh my God, I'm humiliated. I'm humiliated. I can't believe. My dad took her back to the grocery store and he said, you go in there and you tell the manager that you have an extra pack of bologna. And you either pay for it or you return it. You decide what you want to do. He was treating her like she was his kid. You go back in there and you return that pack of bologna. My mom said later, she was, it was 1,000% the right thing to do, but she was humiliated. She was horrified that she couldn't keep the pack of bologna. She had to go in and act like she was a bologna thief. Clearly the manager knew that it was a mistake and let her off the hook and everything and all. But it was just, the reason I'm mentioning this is my dad was one rough son of a gun. Okay? And you just knew there were things you either did or you didn't do. Because you would, there's going to be consequences. Gossip was one of them. Okay? Gossip was one of, that's right, Bubblegum. Gossip was one of them. You don't gossip. We don't gossip in my house. We don't gossip about the neighbors. We don't talk about the ladies. We don't have coffee clutches here. We don't do that. And job sites. You'd sit down to have lunch in a garage full of construction workers. And the construction, no free bologna or gossip, Gypsy. And When guys get together, they start telling locker room stories because they're not being impeccable. And they start telling their own locker room stories back and forth. The minute somebody would start a locker room story and we're in the garage and we're getting our brown bags out for lunch, my dad, come on boys, let's go. He'd hustle us out of the garage. We're not going to sit there and listen to that stuff. After a while, he didn't even have to leave the garage. People would come in, they'd say, hey. Somebody would start a locker room story, or they'd start a dirty joke or something. Then one guy elbow the other, hey, Eves is here. You can't do that here. My dad, just by sitting in the garage eating a bologna sandwich, just by sitting there, was putting out the energy of, these are things you don't do around that guy. It's very powerful. We learn how to gossip by agreement. When we were children, we heard the adults around us gossiping all the time, openly giving their opinions about other people. They even had opinions about people they didn't know. Greenie, it's the power of impeccability. My father was powerful because nothing ever came out. He had some very humiliating and downgrading things to say, as he thought that was the way to motivate a child. So he was missing the mark in that way quite a bit. He was verbally abusive to the children that he was raising. Father, forgive him. He knows not what he was doing. He didn't understand the power of the Father's word on the children's ears. But in the terms of the world, absolutely impeccable. We weren't allowed to give opinions like that. We didn't sit around and talk about other people. We just weren't allowed. Emotional poison was transferred along with the opinions. And we learned this as a normal way to gossip. Gossiping has become the main form of communication in human society. It has become the way we feel close to each other, because it makes us feel better to see someone else feel as badly as we do. There is an old expression that says, misery likes company. And people who are suffering in hell don't want to be alone. Fear and suffering are an important part of the dream of this planet. They are how the dream of the planet keeps us down. Using the analogy of the human mind as a computer, that's good, Mark. I'm glad. Using the human mind can be compared to a computer virus. No, using the analogy of the human mind as a computer, gossip can be compared to a computer virus. A computer virus is a piece of computer language written in all the same codes that are written, but with harmful intent. This code is inserted into the program of your computer when you least expect it, and most of the time without your awareness. After this code has been introduced, your computer doesn't work quite right, or it doesn't function at all because the codes get so mixed up with conflicting messages that it stops producing good results. Human gossip works the exact same way. We immediately are imprinted with the word and the emotional code the person has been saying. But you have no idea what their motivation is. The person could be angry, or they could be simply making an assumption based on fear and prejudices. But because you've learned to ingest information like a child, some part of you believes the gossip. All of this mess can be caused by one little computer virus. One little piece of information can break down communication between people, causing every person it touches to become infected and contagious to others. Imagine that every single time others gossip to you, they insert a computer virus into your mind, causing you to think a little less clearly each time. I say that's being planted in my soul. My soul is the center of gossip. I don't want that stuff in my soul. I don't want any of that virus crap in my soul. Then imagine that in an effort to clean up your own confusion and get rid of the relief from some of this poison, you gossip. And you spread the virus to someone else. Now imagine this pattern going on in the never-ending chain between all the humans on Earth. The result is a world full of humans who can only read information through circuits that are clogged with the poisonous, contagious virus. Once again, this poisonous virus is what the Toltecs call a mutote. The chaos of 1,000 different voices all trying to talk at once in the mind. Even worse are the negative magicians or computer hackers who intentionally spread the virus. Think back to a time when you or someone you know was angry with someone else and desired revenge. In order to seek revenge, you said something to her about that person with the intention of spreading poison and making that person feel bad about themselves or herself. As children, we did this quite regularly and thoughtlessly. But as we grow older, we become more calculated in our efforts to bring other people down. Then we lie to ourselves and say that person received a just punishment for their wrongdoing, like you're the judge. When we see the world through a computer virus, it's easy to justify the cruelest behavior. What we don't see is that the misuse of our word is putting us deeper into hell. It's a natural stopping point for the rest of this chapter. We'll pick up tomorrow. But look around right now. Look at the tweets that you're seeing on X and TikTok, and especially those coming, I'm not being political, but those coming from our politicians. It's pure gossip. And the power of the way they're using the power of their word is to continue to spread emotional poison among everybody. Leaders need to really be careful, because by definition, they're the leader. By definition, you're a leader in your home. You're a leader at your workplace. You're a leader in your worship centers. You're a leader in your grow house. You're a leader in your neighborhood. You're not the guy with the crappy lawn. You're the guy that makes sure. I respect my neighbors enough to make sure my lawn stays trimmed. I don't leave my trash cans out overnight. You lead by example. And these are small tasks. The biggest task you can lead by example is don't gossip. Don't tear other people down to lift yourself up. Don't spread a word about somebody that you don't know anything about because you heard it from somewhere else. Well, that sounded like a pretty neat little piece of trash. Let me spread that trash. Lift people up. Talk about goodness and kindness. Let those be the subjects that you discuss. Not the woo-woo sex crap. Not locker room junk. Men, don't waste your words on that. Your wife needs to hear she's beautiful. Your kids need to hear that they're wonderful. You need to hear those words coming out of your mouth directed at people you love. You're the one that grows from it. Granted, you're giving them a good feeling, and you should. But it's your soul that's growing from it. It's your center that gets holier. Be impeccable. Be impeccable in your actions and in your words. Understand the power that you have. Don't ever for a moment. That's why I still want you to practice your 10 seconds. Before something comes out, run it through a 10-second filter. Is this going to be impeccable what I'm about to say? Is it going to be directed for goodness and kindness? Doesn't mean everything's always easy to hear. Sometimes, because the truth is going to set me free, the truth will set you free too. So it's incumbent upon me, if I'm being impeccable, to tell you the truth. That's where we ended up getting with my son. After a while, I wasn't being impeccable because I kept giving deadlines and then not keeping to them. The other person starts to doubt you. They lose respect for you. You lose respect for yourself. And you're moving in the exact opposite direction of where you really want to go. Sometimes being impeccable isn't easy. But the more you practice it, the more you realize this is what I should do. Even when it's the difficult choice. This is the one I'm going to make today. I know the guys in the garage are going to think I'm goofy because I won't sit there and do locker room talk. But I won't. So I'm going to get up on them and walk away. And you think, oh, well, then they're going to gossip behind me. Either that or they learn never to gossip around you. You set the pattern. You train people how you want to be treated and what kind of things you'll talk about. Making sense? Is this making sense out there? You decide what's going to come out of your mouth and what you won't accept to be around. That's right, Kim. You make the decision. You set your boundaries. And when you do, and they're healthy boundaries, your mental health and wellness grows exponentially. Anxiety down. Depression down. Need for stimulants down. You're already stimulated. You're living this glorious, free life. For the first time in the dream of hell. You're free. You're free and floating, baby. That's right, HB. 4 things. Let's be impeccable with our word and actions. Don't take things personal. Have no expectations. And always do your best. Today your best is, I'm not going to gossip about anyone for any reason. If I start to some of that emotional crap starts coming out, plug it. Plug it and pray. Plug it and pray. Pray for the person you're about to gossip about. Try that one. 100 people you cannot gossip about HB. But I can. No. I won't. Have a great day, you guys. I love you here. We're going to keep on doing this together. We're going to keep doing this together for as long as we can. Okay? That's correct, carnivorous. It means, impeccable means without sin. I am without peccable, peccatus, sin, which simply means missing the mark. Nothing else, and not a lot of drama, and not a lot of guilt, and not a lot of religion in it. None of that. It just means I missed when I shot. It was a bad shot I just took. I'm going to take another one. Gypsy Life and Herbie, HB and Glassic, Joe D's and HB. Vegas, I've been reading about what you're going through, and I'm so sorry, dear. HB, 100 people. Marky Z, Carnivorous. Glassic and 100 people. Herbie and HB. Joe D's and Carnivorous. Derek Anderson, Lynette. Lots of love. Exception, have a beautiful day. 100 people and Aaron. Don't eat a 2-pound cheeseburger. Okay, I won't. Sue Little, Todd Johnson. That's perfect, Todd. Justin LaFlower, HB. Kimberly, have a wonderful first day of school. Nipper and Cleany and Mark and Summer, thank you for being here. Derek Anderson, Hags, snap to you, buddy. Don Fike, Jolie, good morning, Jolie. Glassic and Laura, have a divine day. Herbie, glad to see you. Wazzy the Wizzy Waz, Michael Shanti Patterson. Gypsy Life will always have a good day because we saw you. Sue Little, Joe D's, Fifi, thank you. Sammy P, Pops, peace, love, practice, not gossiping. Out.